talk centers on a particularly juicy subject, on a subject that too many of us love to indulge in, and without any clear idea or awareness of what we're actually doing. And for those of you who have watched the YouTube talk on blame, if you haven't yet watched it, I suggest that you immediately click over there to have a look at that before you watch this one, because these two things are almost inextricably intertwined, which is the reason why I've left the chart up here on the blame side. Blame, disempowering. You, and this is the irony of it, you are giving your power away. It makes you weak, it enhances your sense of uselessness, and often gives rise to huge, negative, destructive anger. What's this deliciousness that I'm talking about? Because, oh my goodness gracious me, do we seem to enjoy this one? It's this. Guilt. You know people like this, who go down to the bottom of the garden and for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 years, 30 years, walk around with that overbearing sense of guilt, that what they have done is in some strange way bad. Now, one of the tenets that I hold to is that as human beings, there is nothing, and I know the absolute, but in this case I use it deliberately, there is nothing that we do as human beings that does not in some strange way have a payoff for us. Sometimes the benefit is a bit odd, and if you look at it dispassionately from the outside, you think, well, how can that possibly be a benefit? Well, perhaps. But to me, the only thing that makes sense, because I have a great faith in the intrinsic power of the human being, is that whatever we do has a payoff for us. So what's the payoff in guilt? Why do we vanish off and eat worms, beat ourselves up? What for? It's terrifyingly simple. And it highlights something that we talked about in the blame thing. This inherent sense of powerlessness, uselessness that we have. One of the things that we are taught, and we have it firmly rammed down our throat, is that life is too big for us, that we can't deal with it, that it is beyond us, that it's going to require hard work to get anywhere. Yeah. And of course you can believe that. And if you believe it, well, then that will be your belief system, and then you will experience the results that you have created out of that belief system. My tenet: life will not give you something that you cannot handle. Difficult, that one, and it's not one that generally we are taught. It is certainly one that we will teach you during the process we call the Harlequin Experience. So, why guilt? Simple. It's a punishment. It reinforces the fact that in some strange way I'm bad. That I don't measure up. That in some strange way I'm no good. And in some very strange way, that actually makes us feel better, because now we are right. And we like to be right. We like to be right about things. Now, what do? And this gets fascinating. Because most of us don't stay down at the bottom of the garden eating worms for 30 years, 40 years, or whatever it might be. We stay down there for a period of time, a day or 2 or 3 or a week, and then slowly we emerge from this awful, guilty feeling. We say, well, it's life, what can I do? This is me. And then what do? And this is dangerous territory. Look very hard at how you handle this, and I have an idea that you might recognize the pattern. We now forgive ourselves. We let ourselves off the hook. We forgive us. We say, oh, well, I didn't mean any harm. That's just the way that it was. And now what can we do? And this we do on a regular basis. Watch. We can do it again. And don't we ever? Don't we ever? And the message that comes to you from me and the work that I do in the Harlequin Experience is, it's time to break that silly circle of doing it, feeling guilty, letting yourself off the hook, and then repeating the pattern of behavior. Can you do this? Yes, you can. Do you have to get busy? It's long overdue.